Should I
All
turn
right,
that
I
off?
have an appointment at 6.
Is that
Sound check.
check?
All right.
You gonna leave your bottle there?
We had everything going against us.
Yeah, we were young, we were broke, we didn't know anything about business. We literally started from nothing.
We were never supposed to make it. What's up, guys?
Hey, welcome back.
Yes, episode number 28 of Win Anyway.
Yep, 28.
28. If you're just getting with us for the first time or one of the first times, this is a podcast that we run for fun.
Yeah.
As you can see, we have a lot of commercials. And
maybe there are
We're getting
commercials.
really rich from doing this.
Yes.
No, our goal is just to help you. Those of you guys that are building a business and you're trying to win and trying to get on top. That's the whole point of this. So hopefully you're getting some value from it.
Yes, and if you're listening to this, that means that you're looking to grow and you're looking to improve, so you're already one step ahead of the game. So congratulations to you.
Yes, hopefully you're winning. And those of you guys that send us messages, telling us what you've learned and how this has helped you, obviously we appreciate that.
Yes, because we've never done this before, so, it does help.
We're rookies, although the podcast is doing very well.
Yeah, I say so.
Yeah, so anyhow, today's a good topic. Your leadership would probably appreciate this topic.
Yes.
And I think it's probably one of the things that has contributed to us doing, as well as we have done, is that we're pretty good at learning and having learned how to leverage and utilize our coach.
Yes. And so our coach is Dan Charlier. For those of you guys who don't know, we are direct to him. So yeah, we've had a really good relationship with him since what do you say, about a year and a half after we started?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, probably about a year and a half.
Not because we didn't want to, it was just proximity.
Right. Yeah, and so learning how to utilize your coach correctly, I think will be a very, very big factor in your ability to do well, at least to do well quickly. Preventing a lot of mistakes and things that you don't necessarily have to go through if you are in alignment up front. So today's episode is on how to do that, how to leverage your coach correctly, how to utilize your coach correctly. And we've got about, 7 things or so that we're going to go through that we think make a big impact in that. And just know that everything we talk about is from experience. We're 9 years in the business now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not experts at anything. We fake it very well. We pretend like we know what we're talking about.
We make it look good.
Yeah, our team makes us look good.
That's for sure.
We have a great team, and they really do. They really do make us look better than we are. But this is a topic. I don't know. This is a topic that I'm passionate about because so much of our success, we get coached by Charlier directly, and then mentored some by Mylette as well. And those two leaders have played a huge, just everything in our ability to do well. But learning how to leverage them right and how to utilize them correctly and how to have the right relationship with them, I think is something that I don't think it's really taught ever. I've never sat through a training on it, and so I think this could do a lot of good for you.
Yeah. So let's jump into it.
So number 1, pretty obvious. You're going to have heard this one before.
This one you've definitely heard, and it's making sure that you're not parent deaf. Mm-hmm. And
So what does that mean?
well, the first thing you have to realize with this is when you're parent deaf, it's exactly what it sounds like. When you're a kid, right, and your parent tells you, oh, don't do this because it's really bad for you, or you shouldn't do this isn't a good idea, you usually don't listen because you're so used to them just telling you what to do that it just completely does not register with you. It goes in one ear, out the other. But then your best friend's mom, best friend's dad, a favorite teacher of yours, a coach can tell you the exact same thing. And you're like, wow, that's so true. I never thought of it that way. And so this is what we're trying to prevent from happening. And a lot of times this happens because of familiarity, proximity. You're close to them. You're around them all the time. They're always giving you advice. They're always coaching you. And so eventually, maybe you don't even realize it or not, you stop listening.
Yeah, for sure.
You just get used to it. They're doing your training every twice a week, right? Whether it's Tuesdays and Saturdays or Wednesdays and Saturdays, you're constantly hearing them. And then it's just, you just kind of stop listening. You're zoning out more. You're not taking as many notes. You're not asking as many questions. You just kind of become parent deaf.
Yep. And it's really bad for your business because it's the recipe for getting stagnant and hitting a plateau. Because you only know so much and you don't really know what you don't know, and your coach sees you from an outside standpoint. Like they see everything that you do, they see everything you don't do, the way you approach things. And so the second you become parent deaf, you really a lot of times get stuck. Mm-hmm. And it's not till people go through this process where they're growing, and then they get parent deaf, they stop listening, and they just keep doing the same things. But the same things get you the same thing. And then they get stuck. And then as they get stuck, they start to get frustrated. And then they finally get frustrated enough where they're pissed off. And then they go, oh my gosh. And then they go back to their coach and go, I'm stuck. And then they start to listen again. They get unstuck. The problem is in that process, you waste so much time.
So much time.
Yeah, I mean, because the amount of time before you get frustrated is different for everybody. It's different every time. It could be 6 months to a year. You go a whole dang year, you look at your numbers, you're like, what the heck? And you realize you should have went back and gotten feedback so far back, but you get stuck. And so how does someone avoid becoming parent deaf?
Well, number one, if you are sitting there saying, I'm not parent deaf, but you've ever said this phrase, I already know what I'm supposed to do. I just need to do it. If you've ever said that phrase, you're parent deaf. So number one, I'd say recognize that you're parent deaf. Admit it to yourself. That way you're aware of it because you have to be aware of it. Number two, I would say change your response to every interaction with your coach. So recognize that you're parent deaf. And second, hey, start taking notes again. Start decreasing the amount of time between instruction and action. So when they tell you to do something, don't go, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to book 5 appointments. They challenged you, right? I'm going to book 5 appointments. Don't wait a week. Do it immediately.
Yeah.
And create that habit of I always do what my coach tells me to do.
Yep. If you're taking notes, you should write down immediate action. Which means literally like you don't leave the meeting without applying what you learned at the meeting. It's instantaneous, right away. You become parent deaf. Most people are parent deaf, just to be honest. I mean, what Ronnie said is spot on because everyone says that crap. I know what I'm supposed to do. I just need to do it. Everyone says that. Every loser in the business says that.
Yeah.
Everyone who gets stuck, I just started working. I'm just starting to work. Dude, no, that means you're not doing anything. Parent deaf is, I guess you just got to want it bad enough, Like for me, I'm always trying to figure out something at pretty much in any given time. I always have something I'm working through. Like, all right, I got to figure out how to do this. I got to figure this. Got to figure out how to promote more. I got to figure out, there's always this hunger and this thing that I'm trying to master. And I think that's why I don't get parent deaf. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever been parent deaf to Dan my entire career because I'm always fighting to get better.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't know, not everyone's at that spot. So that's number one, how to leverage your coach correctly. It's don't become parent deaf. And if you are, freaking admit it and own it. I don't think I am. If you have to think about it, then you are. So that's number one. Number two, get good at asking the right questions. Now, talk about that. What does that mean?
This is something that you're really, really good at. You're so good at this, and this is one of the things I admire about you because I'm like, dang, I'm sitting there trying to think of really good questions that, our team, if we have a guest speaker, our team needs to hear and things like that, but you just phrase it so well. And basically it means that sometimes when we're sitting with our coach or we're sitting with our mentor, we just want to sound impressive. So we ask them questions that maybe we think are impressive, right? So So, for
Yeah.
example, sometimes people like to ask, if you could go back knowing what you know now, what would you do different? I think that's like the most popular question.
I hate that question, by the way.
Because you want to ask something, but if you want the right information, you have to ask the right questions. So it has to be the right questions for you, specific to your business. And the more specific you can be about your questions, the better. So
Right.
if you are having an issue with, okay, my recruiting numbers are great, but they don't show up to the fast start. They don't show up to their orientation. So asking your coach, okay, specifically, am I doing something wrong? Is there a hole in my system? Can you help me figure out what it is? That's a good question.
Now, I feel like people struggle with that because they're not even focused on their business to know where the hole in their system is. That's the problem for most people. When they struggle to ask questions, it's because their level of awareness for their own work ethic and their own business is not there. And so they don't even know. So then they're just like, I need to ask something. What's a good one that no one's ever asked before? It's like, no, dude, if you were in tune with what you're doing on a daily basis, if you were in tune with your business, if you were actually studying your numbers and you knew what was going on, then there would not be a wonder for what to ask. We're constantly looking at our business. So we're constantly like every single meeting when we pick a training, sometimes I choose a training topic 5 minutes before the meeting, but it's because we're trying to figure out what is relevant right now.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
For example, we did 25, recruits this week. All right. Well, where are they all at? Okay, let's talk about fast start. It's being in tune. So I think asking the right questions requires you to actually have your head out of your ass when it comes to your business. You have to actually know what's going on. Mm-hmm. You can't just be winging it. If you're just winging it, you're going to be clueless.
Yeah, that's so true.
So it comes to being intentional. Having an outcome when you're going to have a conversation. The next point on here is accountability, right? So
right.
How to leverage your coach correctly, accountability.
Accountability. So a lot of people think this is what accountability is. They think it's, if I'm training you, it's me calling you every single day, asking you what you have going on, how many appointments you booked, what activity you have, how are your teammates. That's what people think accountability is. But if you're trying to leverage your leadership correctly, you should be the one reaching out to them, right? And it's that course correction on a daily basis. Now, every day, are you going to need course correction? Of course not, especially if you're turning in your accountability and you have zeros across the board. The course correction is going to be, okay, tomorrow, do something. Right? So it's you reaching out every single day and saying, like, I'm here, this is what I'm working on. And then they can give you feedback if feedback's necessary. Or sometimes it's just do more or keep going or keep working or be consistent.
And that goes back to what we were just talking about of asking the right questions. Mm-hmm. So when you're reaching out, it's reaching out with intention, having an outcome in mind.
Yeah.
Not just calling to check in. It's calling to check in and you actually have tangible things that you want to get fixed. So for example, I have an accountability call with Dan every single Friday. When I call Dan, I have specific questions.
But you call Dan.
Specific things, correct. And I have specific things that I want feedback on. Mm-hmm. So I'm asking the right questions, but I'm also being intentional. I'm having an outcome in mind. Like this call, I need to figure these 3 things out. This is how we get to the next level. And then I take it and I apply immediate action. I'm not just calling him like, yo, what up, coach? So how's your day? And then waiting for him to drive the conversation. That's what too many people do is they wait for us to give them some magic potion or something.
To motivate them.
Correct, but that's not my job. Maybe you need to be motivated and we can motivate you. But it's having a specific intentional purpose behind the conversation. And it's seeking it out. The mentee seeks out the mentor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I don't call Dan every day, but if I was an associate, you best believe I'd be calling my MD every day.
Yeah.
I'd be calling my upline associate every single day.
And remember, your coach has 10 to 100 to thousands of agents, right? But you have one coach. So the line of communication has to reflect that, right? You need to reach out and receive that feedback.
Yep. And that brings us to our next point. Number 4 is that you do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
So I want you to
Yes,
watch this.
important.
So when we put these together, listen to this. Number 1, don't be parent deaf. Number 2, ask the right questions. Be intentional. Number 3, you seek out accountability. This is how you leverage your coach correctly. Number 4 is you actually do what you say you're going to do. Okay?
We can't move to the next step in this process unless you do what you say you're going to do.
It's a big man. So everybody has these. We have people on our team that I go, what are you going to do for the month? And they're like, 7,600 recruits and 49 million points. And I'm like, dude, you don't even do 1 and 1. So hold on a second. There's something called credibility. Okay, this is a very, very, very big point for you. Credibility. Now, there's 2 types of credibility. There's credibility, and then there's self-credibility. So, also known as self-integrity, or the integrity that you have with your leader. So, we all have people on our team that sell us the freaking dream. Like, the one thing they learned how to do in WFG was sell the dream. Mm-hmm. So, we ask them what you're going to do for the month, and they're like, yo, I'm going to do BBC 75, 60,000 points, and I'm going to make 200 grand and get my $250,000 ring this month. And I'm like, obviously I'm exaggerating a little bit, okay? But my point is that month after month after month after month, they sell me this big dream. And then it's not like they just missed their goal. They don't do shit. It's not like you told me you were going to do BBC 20 and you did 16. And all of a sudden you lost credibility. That's not what I mean. I mean, they tell me they're going to do 20 and they do 0, which means they didn't just not hit their goal, they didn't even try. So part of leveraging your leader correctly is that you have credibility, which means that you maintain your credibility. So 9 years in the business, Dan may not know a lot when it comes to us, when it comes to me. Maybe he's not going to predict the world, but there's one thing he can always count on, which is that when we tell him we're going to do something, is that we freaking do it.
Yes, 100% of the time. And he knows that.
It.
Yeah.
He knows it. See, if he goes, where are you at for the month? If we're at like 60,000 points, I tell him 40. I'm like, oh, we're at like 40, 45,000, 50,000. And he's like, all right, cool. But he knows in his head, I know they're probably higher than that.
Yeah.
But I know they're at least where they're telling me. But then there's the opposite. Where I ask someone, where you at for the month? Oh, I'm 40,000. And then it's like, at the end of the month, they're at like 3.
Yeah. It's
I'm
like
like, what the
nowhere
heck?
even like.
Like, dude, I can't even count on you. Like, literally, if I was taking down numbers to turn them into Charlier or turn them into Milet, like, I can't even count on your numbers because I don't trust you because you always sell me the dream, but you're full of crap. Mm-hmm. Another one is that when Dan asks us what we'll do for the month, I tell him, hey, we'll do 50 recruits and 75,000 points. But I come in and we do 65 recruits and 130,000 points. So what I mean by that is that we maintain our credibility. We're known, at least by Dan, by doing what we say we're going to do.
Yeah, and that's how you, by the way, that's how you earn time with your coach.
Right.
Because you have to earn it. Yes, they're going to have these conversations with you, these phone conversations with you. But if you want that extra time, you want that extra coaching, that little extra things that are going to push you over the edge, you have to earn it. And you earn it by getting results and doing what you say you're going to do.
Yeah, your leader goes on a run. They're going to go run for EVC or whatever. And then they say, all right, Ronnie, what can we count on your base shop to do? And then I see people's numbers and they're like, oh, we'll put up 500,000 points. I'm like, dude, you haven't put up 500,000 points the whole year. Not even the last 2 years. And all of a sudden, make commitments to your coach that your coach knows they could count on you to do. They could count on you to actually follow through. They could count on you to hit that you'll over deliver. Wealth Bowl comes out. All right, how many tickets you going to sell? We'll sell 70. We'll go to the Wealth Bowl with 65 people. But you have one person on your team. I appreciate that you dream, but give me something I can count on.
Yes.
And as a coach, you want to leverage your coach correctly. There's nothing better, because we've been on both ends of it. We've been on the end where we're making commitments to Dan, and we've also been on the other end where we have people on our team that make the most bogus commitments, and I'm just like, Cool. All right, put them down for a 0. It's pretty much how it goes on the other end of the call. So that's number 4. Do what you say you're going to do. Now, but how big is that?
It speaks volumes.
Because then your team's going to do the same crap with you.
Yeah.
All right, number 5.
Number 5, leveraging your leadership correctly. And so this is something we've also done really, really well at. And it's especially with your team. So, for example, I'm training Jay and Jay is, training Sherry. There's something powerful about like when Sherry hits a goal, she gets a promotion, she has a record cash flow. If Jay goes, hey, Ronnie, will you call Sherry? She did this, this, and this, and this. Being able.
Of course I'll call Bang Bang.
And then me calling her and like congratulating her, things like that, like leveraging your coach correctly for, being very intentional about that.
Yeah. Our team sucks at that.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah.
if you're listening and you're in tenacity, you suck at this. I can't remember the last time someone asked me to do this.
Like, hey, can you,
I can't even remember.
yeah.
I did it the other day for Paul when Josh did 10-10, but I volunteered to do it. Paul didn't ask.
Yeah.
Paul
This
also
is something
doesn't
you have
listen
to get.
the podcast, so we're cool.
So you can talk about it. This is something you have to get really, really good at because it's an unutilized tool.
Dude.
And it's just for your coach, it's 5, 10, 15 minutes, maybe even less than that, but it's so powerful.
Why don't you just blow a voicemail? Anything.
Yeah. It's
a little text, yeah.
Voicemail, phone call really
Email,
quick. It's something very, very powerful that you're not utilizing with your teammates.
And it's not fake either.
No, we thrive for that recognition. We don't get that at our jobs, typically.
Oh, every time my Let's left me a message, I freaking screen record it. I save it to my files.
Voicemail,
I
you
send it
save
to
it.
25 people in case I lose it. I know someone has it. Like, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Even if I know that there's a chance that Dan was like, hey, call Jay. Hey, call Ronnie. Doesn't matter to me.
He still called.
Yeah, because he could have said no.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
I still have the voicemails.
So if you're not doing that, you're completely missing the mark on that. And I'm not saying have them call your team for every, they showed up today. No, but leverage them for things like that. They hit a milestone, or maybe they're just, they've been a loyal teammate for so long, and maybe they just need somebody to call them and say, like, hey, we appreciate you. You
Or
can do
they're
that
on their
stuff
way
too.
out. and they
Yeah,
need a
that's what I
little
meant.
CPR.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, call them and let them know.
Bring them back to life.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's important. I think the people that grow fast, they're very good at that. Think about when the last time you did that was.
Yeah, I think you said this on a previous podcast, but you said, sometimes when you have a teammate who doesn't always hit their goals, but they did that month, they hit their associate promotion. Right. If you don't recognize them, you don't make a big deal about it, that might be the last time they ever, push themselves to hit a goal. So you want to make sure that you don't skimp out on recognition. Recognition is so huge. I don't care if you don't like rah-rah, if you don't like the hype, then I'm sorry, you're just not right for this environment, because I'm all about being positive and getting excited and being excited for other people.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a really big one. It's really big when you're building a base shop.
Yes.
Because it goes back to people being parent deaf to you, and then you leveraging somebody else where, just like you get parent deaf, your team gets parent deaf with you. And so leverage is big. And by the way, it doesn't have to be your leadership only. It could be a sideline. It could be another leader in the office. It doesn't have to just be with your coach. It's both ways. That's good. All right, number 6. This one's important.
Yes, this is a pet
You know what?
peeve of
I'm
mine.
looking through this, and we're pretty good at this. Ronnie and I are pretty good at this stuff. I'm just being honest. There's always room for improvement, but this is one that we usually get right. And I want to tell you something. This also goes back to the credibility with your leadership, because Dan knows that we get this one right.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Dan knows we're very good at this. And number 6 is don't F up the mastermind.
Yes. And by F up, we mean...
Don't F it up. Okay? Don't screw it up. The mastermind, which is you calling up your coach and being like, yo, can we come by the house? I want to bring a couple of my guys. Like, I've seen people screw this up over and over again. Maybe it's not a screw up. Maybe my standard for it is different.
Hey, but I would say not even on a grander scale like that, but if you went to lunch with them, and if it's a 30-minute lunch, the same standard still applies.
Yeah, 100%.
A Zoom call that's 15 minutes, like no mastermind is too small to follow this general rule.
Of not effing it up.
And
so
by
how do you do it right?
By effing it up, we mean like it's a waste of time. So this is something that the first thing we learned from Mario Bayona is every mastermind should have an end time.
Yeah, an expiration time.
Because if there's an expiration time, meaning, okay, we're going to go to lunch. I have to be out of here in 45 minutes. So by, whatever, 1:45 or whatever time it ends up being. Because if you tell people the end time, they're not going to spend so much time just wasting, chit-chatting, BSing, talking about people. They're going to know, okay, I have to ask all my questions within the next, 20, 30 minutes, or else I'm not going to have that opportunity.
Yeah, Milette's a master at it. Remember last time we went to lunch with him and he's like, all right, guys, I got a flight in 45 minutes. We're like, all right, cool. We got right into it. 3 hours later, we're leaving and we're like, what happened to his flight?
Yeah. Because if you don't do that, if you notice what'll happen, actually pay attention. What'll end up happening is you'll order food, you'll start talking about this person, the weather, the news. And then once the check comes, then the questions start coming out.
You're like,
you're like, I'm ready to leave.
I just got suckered.
Yeah. The questions start coming out. You're like, I'm ready to leave. And you're trying to drag on this, we should have been asking questions from the moment we sat, our cakes in these seats.
Yep. Before you even got food. Even if you never got food.
Yeah. So number one, there has to be an end time. Number two, show up with questions. We usually do like 5, right? Like 5, like solid, very specific questions. And then, because obviously, one question might lead to a couple follow-up questions. And then have the most important ones up at front. That way you make sure you ask the most important ones to your business.
Yep.
And the second the conversation, ends up going to talking about people, anything like that, then the conversation is expired. And it's time to say goodbye.
Yeah, Ronnie not into that hanging out stuff.
It just bugs me so much when they start talking about this person or that person or making fun of so-and-so. No, I'm not here for it.
It comes down to just being intentional and having a specific outcome. So when I go like to Hawaii, for example, we don't go to Hawaii to hang out. We don't go yachting. We don't go to, but by the way, there's nothing wrong with that stuff.
No.
We're just not at that place in our business. For us, we're in the building stage. Mm-hmm. And so for us, it's like everything's a mastermind. I don't care what's going on. We're trying to learn. We're trying to grow. We're always looking for that one thing that could take us to the next level. And so when we go to the mastermind, have an end time, have some specific questions, things that are applicable to your business.
Yeah, you invite the right people to hang out with your coach.
And that's number 3 is you got to have the right people there. I believe the quality of the mastermind, the quality of the meeting is directly tied to the quality of people you bring to the meeting. So when we have some boneheads at the meeting, I'm just like, how did I end up with these people here? I thought I brought the right people. I'm like, all right, well, but I'm very aware. Like I'm so aware because I know Dan. I know Dan very well. Like I know when Dan used to come to our house for the meeting, I'm like, all right, there's got to be music. I'm like so conscious about the volume of the music, the type of music, and I'm like watching him. I buy him 4 cigars. I'm counting how much time I get per cigar. I'm like literally paying attention. I'm telling my assistant like, hey, do me a favor, go fix the music. Or hey, get Dan a lighter. And like I'm watching, he's coming down to the end of his cigar and I'm like staring at his cigar. And then I'm like, I walk over and I like grab another cigar and I hand it to him while he's talking. I give him the lighter. And as soon as the cigar is lit, I'm like, boom, we got 40 more minutes. I'm so conscious of it. And Dan laughs about it too. He's like, man, Jay knows me. Look at him. He's fixing the music right now because he knows the second the energy goes down, I'm out. And so I'm so conscious of it. But people aren't.
No.
I've gone to lunches with people. I don't care. Even if it's 30 minutes, I could eat by myself.
Yeah.
I'd rather eat by myself if we're just going to waste time. I don't want to hang out. Because if I'm just going to hang out, I will go eat alone. And read my book or listening to a podcast or make a couple calls, book a couple guests for myself or something. So a lot of people, though, they totally screw this one up, man. And I want to tell you that if you develop a reputation for yourself of being a waste of time, you're not going to get invitations anymore. Another thing is when you get an invitation, you better show up. Like if Dan invites me to something and I don't come, I'm scared to not go because I'm like, I ain't going to get another invite. Because I've seen him not invite people just because they didn't show up last time. So I'm like, I'm never too busy. When Dan calls me, hey, can you speak at my meeting? Dude, if I have an appointment, I cancel it. If I have another meeting, I'm like, yeah, coach, I'll be there. I'll do it for you. And I reschedule whatever I have to reschedule. So if you get an invite, you better show up. Because if I invite you and you don't come, I don't invite you again. There's plenty of other people to invite. So really take this one seriously and your coach will appreciate you so much. Host them correctly. Never, ever, ever, in my personal opinion, should your trainer or your upline or anybody above you pay for their own meal. Ever. Right or wrong?
Right. Yeah.
Ever. I don't care if you're broke. You better figure it out quick. You better open a credit card to buy your trainer's lunch. You should never allow them to pay for their own meal. I remember when I was driving to I was driving Dan to
up north. Right?
Yeah, I was driving Dan up north to Eric Olson's Wealth Bowl.
Yeah.
It's like 7 years ago. We weren't even friends with Mario. By the way, people get mad because we always talk about Mario.
So
I'm just saying, people get mad about it. I've heard 2 comments about it already.
What's wrong with Mario?
How come you only talk about Mario? I'm like, I don't know.
He's been a really good friend to us. He's been an amazing coach and friend to us.
I've learned a lot from Mario, man.
Yes.
Let me tell you. But we were driving up there. This is when I first met Mario and Randy and all these guys for the first time. And dude, I was so broke. And I'm driving Dan's Bentley, right? And Dan's in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, guys, I'm going to do some meditation. I'm like, all right, cool. Puts on his headphones, falls asleep. I still remember it. I was like, oh, that's meditation. That's what I could call it from now on. And I remember I'm in the car, and Dan's like, man, I'm starving. And I'm like, all right, well, what do you want, coach? What do you want? He's like, just pull over right here to Burger King. I'm like, you eat Burger King? I'm like, oh, dang, Dan eats at Burger King. I get in there. He knew what he wanted to order and everything. And I still remember to this day. I'm like, I was so broke. But I'm like, this is my freaking shot to make an emotional deposit with Dan.
To shine.
It's my time to shine, baby. I pull out my wallet. I'm like, don't worry, coach, I got it. And he looks at me. It was like $9.80.
I was going to say, how much was it? $8.
And he looks at me and he goes, I still remember this. He goes, oh, dang, Jay. All right, like that? He's like, I didn't know you had money like that. I'm like, I got it, coach. Don't trip. I got this one. This one's on me. And
That's
I was
awesome.
so proud of myself. But don't ever let your coach pay. I've also been on the other end of it. Mm-hmm. I was at the Grand Havana room one time at the cigar lounge. And Dan, I look at his order, right? I wasn't the only one there. There were all kinds of people there. So it wasn't just my responsibility to make sure Dan's meal was paid for. But I looked at his order, and he ordered a pizza. And I'm like, score. This is my in right here. This is my shot. And so I go over to the waitress. I'm like, hey, I'm going to pay for Mr. Charlier's bill. She's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, for sure. And she's like, okay. She rings it up, $130. I'm like,
a pizza?
What the hell? I'm like, I thought he ordered a pizza. She's like, well, I asked you if you were sure. I look on there and there's like $40 glasses of alcohol. I don't know. I don't drink alcohol. Like $40 shots, $50 shots. I'm like, what the freaking heck? And I picked on the wrong day, damn it. But you know what? I paid for it.
Yeah.
Here's my point. I've been on both ends. Don't ever let your coach pay for their meal.
Yes. And this is why, guys, you don't understand the amount of coaching and leadership that you're getting. People have to pay so much money to get that in the outside world. Yeah. Right? Just think of, this is probably the most common coach people use, but therapists, it's like $150, $200 an hour. Yep. And it's not even really an hour. I think it's like 45 minutes to 50 minutes, right? And so they're doing this, they're coaching you, they're investing in you, they're helping build you. Where else are you going to get that? So it's just such a small token of appreciation.
Right. And I pick up the bill for other leaders There's other times I've been at a restaurant where there's other leaders from other hierarchies there, and I pick up their bill too.
Yeah.
Because I'm thankful, and it's an emotional deposit into the future, and they always remember that. So that's number 6. Last one. Big one. The overwhelming summary.
Yes. Your goal should be to be someone who is low maintenance and high production.
All right. What does that mean?
It means...
Describe it.
Describe it?
Yeah.
It means that you are not a time soul-sucking individual and you actually produce. So this person that we're talking about, it means that it doesn't mean that you don't ever need help. It means when you need help, you're very specific. You ask for help, you take the instruction, and you take immediate action. And then you go out and do what you say you're going to do. So all the things we just talked about, you do all those things.
So you're not an asshole.
No, you're not just I just don't know what's wrong. I'm just stuck in my business. I can't seem to get a result, but you're not working.
So what's an asshole?
It's somebody who asks for advice, but never takes the advice.
Yeah, they ask, and then they ask the same question to 9 different people.
Yeah, because they didn't like the answer the first
Asshole.
8.
Freaking asshole.
So you should strive to be somebody who is low maintenance and high production. You should be a good investment. Right? When people like flip houses, they buy houses most of the time. They're like, oh, I can do this and that and invest this amount of money and then get this amount of profit, right? It shouldn't be $1 worth of profit. You should be a very profitable investment.
So it means that you value the time, right?
You're respectful.
You're respectful. Mm-hmm. You do what
say.
they told you to do. Like Ronnie said earlier, we can't go on to the next thing if you still haven't done the last thing.
Yeah.
So you do what you're told the first time. And at the end of the day, you're high profitability. Like you're a franchise that makes money. You're a franchise that, like, some people are franchises that just, man, they're just racking in the money. Like if I owned, a Chick-fil-A right across the street from a college, like that would be a good location, right?
Right.
And that thing's just racking in the money, right? Versus then other people, I'm like, I got a Chick-fil-A over there, but the freaking roof is always falling in. It's always flooded.
The fryer
The
doesn't
manager
work.
sucks. The fryer sucks. People
Freezers
are
are
stealing out
broken.
of the cashier, register. It's like not a good winning franchise, okay? So in the business, in our industry, if you're in WFG, a high profitability, low maintenance is someone who they're emotionally stable. They're self-motivating. They're self-funding. They don't have drama all the time. They when they need how do I put someone in licensing? Like they don't go to the SMD for that. They could go to like their teammate for that. They could call the company. When they have a product question. It's like, call the damn company. Why are you asking me? Don't ask me for that. Go figure it out. There's 40 other people in the training room. Someone knows the answer.
Yep.
That's someone who's a lot of maintenance. Let me ask you a question. When you call your trainer and the phone rings and they pick it up and they see your name, do they go, oh, why? Why again? Why? Or are they like, oh, I wonder what the good news is today. Hey, what's up? See, when I call Dan, I never want him to go, oh. Dude, that's like my biggest nightmare.
Right.
I want someone to call me. I'm like, if they're calling me, it's probably good news. If they're calling me, I wonder how many points they wrote today. Or they're like, hey, coach, real quick. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, oh, yeah, do da-da-da-da-da. And they're like, all right, got it, on it, bye. Mm-hmm. That's called what? High production.
Low maintenance.
That's the dream, right?
Yes.
What if you had 30 or 40 of those direct to you?
That's a retirement.
Now, maybe you need to go to your trainer, to your SMD, to your leader, to your coach and say, hey, I feel like I'm an asshole and maybe I've been a pain in the butt and I'm a lot of work. So if so, I apologize. I'm going to fix that going forward.
ASK, by the way.
Yes.
Ask.
Hole. You ask a lot of questions and you do nothing.
Yeah. You don't need to admit the other thing. It's not necessary.
That you're an asshole?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, I'm sorry, I've been an asshole.
Hey, maybe that too.
You know what? Part of self-awareness.
So,
yes.
Good stuff. How to leverage your coach. By the way, last thing. when you have them over, get them a gift or something.
I like Starbucks.
Yeah. Like when Dan's coming out, we always buy him cigars.
Yeah, because he loves cigars.
Good ones, the illegal ones, all the time. Not the cheap ones, not Black and Milds. Remember those from high school? Mm-hmm. I didn't smoke any, but that was a popular thing.
Yeah, it was. They
Black and Mild.
smelled good.
They still have them, I
smelled
think.
good.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Good stuff, guys.
Yes. So go do this stuff. It's important.
Sweet. Hey, any topics that you want, post them on YouTube in the comments.
Yes. We respond. We read them. We save them. So please, topic suggestions. Subscribe, comment, like, share. Drop this in your group me. Drop this in your hierarchy group me. We really appreciate it. We do not take it for granted.
Never. It's a crazy world right now, but you got to win anyway.
Yes. Let's do it.
All right, y'all. We're out.